Oh, Elon, go kumbaya your fucking self back to South Africa, because that's all I gotta say about that shit.
But there's also no question that there has been a change over the last 4 years. We saw a lot of societal and political pressure all in the direction of more content moderation, more censorship. And we've got a real opportunity now. We've got a new administration and a new president coming in who are big defenders of free expression. And that makes a difference. One of the things we've experienced is that when you have a U.S. president and administration that's pushing for censorship, it just makes it open season for other governments around the world that don't even have the protections of the First Amendment to really put pressure on U.S. companies. We're going to work with President Trump to push back on that kind of thing around the world.
So, Joel, why now? I know you said it's a change, but did you feel restricted over the last 4 years? And this is the first time it's in your business interest to express this quest for freedom?
Well, there's no question that there's an opportunity here with a new president taking office, as I said, who really believes in free expression. And that's just going to give us the space to get back to those values that Mark has talked about for a long. Mark gave a big speech 6 years ago at Georgetown about free expression, about these values. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of political and societal pressure here and around the world that have pushed away from those values. We've got a real opportunity to reset, get back to them, and really provide a space for free expression.
How was the Biden administration putting pressure on you specifically? Were they calling where they didn't like a post? What did they say, take it down?
Yeah, so...
Yes, I knew this is coming. This is just incredible. Brian Sether is attacking Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg for committing to free speech. He said Zuckerberg announcement is a MAGA makeover and would turn away liberals. For years, conservatives were censored and silenced by big tech. These people were extremely excited. They advocate for that. Now, tables are turning. They are crying everywhere. Some love X, like we cannot be on Twitter again, going to other social media platform. Now Meta is doing the same thing. I don't know if they are going to run Instagram and Facebook also, or create theirs like they claim every single day.
It gets to this broader sense that when people like Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg talk about free speech, everybody wants free speech, but it oftentimes seems that these tech CEOs actually are favoring or preferring a certain kind of speech, right? They're favoring their own speech or their own political preferences and not the actual entire user or the community's speech. The changes announced by Meta today are very much a MAGA makeover, a pro-Trump makeover, and that's going to win Meta some conservative users, but it may repel some liberals. That's the same thing we've seen happen on Elon Musk's X. He's turned it into more of a right-wing platform where he's pro-free speech when it's really pro-Musk or pro-Trump speech.
All right, Brian Stelter, thanks as always. And you mentioned those changes over at Meta. That is going to be fascinating to watch moving forward because obviously Facebook and Instagram, places like that, have also been accused of being super spreaders of disinformation, misinformation. We'll keep our eyes on that.
Yes, this get me irritated. When I look at this guy, when they were censoring conservatives on social media, I never saw a single day this same man doing videos, putting out segments like this to talk against that. I never saw that. Now, because these people want free speech, is getting them angry. I don't understand why. This is transparency. You should know why you are wrong. Community note is important, though I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg, but it's still a good move. If Trump didn't win, we would not see this. That clearly shows you what was going on. He is acknowledging that this was happening after refusing for a very long time.
So, unsurprising but still concerning news. Mark Zuckerberg has decided that Meta will undergo some major policy changes. These policy changes will essentially make Meta platforms much more like X. And as a reminder, Meta platforms include Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger. So right now the plan is that moderators are going to be removed from these platforms, and any moderators that do exist are going to be living in Texas, a traditionally conservative state. We can expect community guidelines to be much more lax, meaning that all kinds of information can be out there, whether true or not. And allegedly Zuckerberg will be putting in some sort of community notes feature, much like X has. Zuckerberg will also be working with Donald Trump to, quote, end censorship completely, meaning that there will not be topic restrictions. Again, this is unsurprising news. We did expect to start seeing things like this, but it is very important now more than ever that you do your fact checking for yourself, because we won't have that anymore.
Mark Zuckerberg just made a big announcement that basically he's sold out. He more or less said that Meta platforms are turning into X platforms in terms of how they regulate content. Wonderful. Not only that, he's moving all of the content regulation side of the business. He's moving it out of California to Texas so that people aren't worried that it's bias, because if you're in California, then you must be biased. Oh God. So basically they're doing away with fact checking entirely. They're going to have community notes just like X. He basically said in the video that, he took notes from Elon. It's a mess. This is really bad. Like, I already see some of the worst shit I've ever seen on the Meta platforms, and none of the right stuff gets taken down. I'll give you a perfect example. I saw a video on Facebook of the New Orleans tragedy. No censor, no nothing. Like, it came up in my feed without my consent. I saw the bodies that were. It was awful. It was one of the most horrible videos I've ever seen on the internet since you accidentally used to download really bad shit on LimeWire.
Implications of this policy change, to me, this is Mark Zuckerberg completing his total surrender to Donald Trump. Remember, a few weeks ago, Mark Zuckerberg met with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, then proceeded to have Meta donate $1 million to Donald Trump's inaugural fund, and then replaced Meta's global policy chief, who was a liberal, with a Republican. So it's no coincidence that
Yes, according to these people, everything revolves around them. We have seen in the past how these people deal with conservatives on social media. You dare not speak up, you dare not say a lot of things, or you'll be banned totally. Now, things are changing like this. They don't just want to see, they don't want to have freedom of speech. How on earth will you be believing you can express yourself the way you want? They like the idea. When I look at a lady like this, putting out this clip saying, oh, they don't censor consecutive videos, it's crazy. Because we have seen that for the past how many years, how Meta, even the platform Trump, a lot of this has happened. He suddenly realized, he might be in trouble. So the only thing is for me to adjust. And it's not even like looking at Trump. It is right to allow people to express themselves. What Elon Musk did actually opened eyes to some of these platforms. He stood his ground. Yeah, look at this now.
If you don't have freedom of speech, you don't have democracy. Okay, because if you don't have freedom of speech, people cannot make an informed vote.
Hey everyone, I want to talk about something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression, the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes.
Yesterday, Danny White sent this out. I'm excited to kick off the new year with some news we have been working on for a while. Danny White, John, and Charlie Songhurst are joining Meta board of directors. We have massive opportunities ahead in AI, wearable, and the future of social media, and our board will help us achieve our vision. Danny is the president and CEO of UFC, and he has built it into one of the most valuable, fastest growing, and most popular sport enterprise in the world. I have admired him as an entrepreneur and his ability to build such a beloved brand. Mark Zuckerberg. You can see what is going on here.
What do we do? All right, right now you're looking. Remember it. As a country about